but really happy to have you, Ann. Welcome. We've got some slides, and it looks like they're already up and rolling. And take it away.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to be here with you. I'm kind of the new girl on the block. My name is Ann Young, and I have been in the substance misuse, mental health field for the last 38 years. My first 22 years were at Peninsula in a variety of clinical and leadership roles. And then I was at Cornerstone of Recovery as the director of residential programs. In September, NBC pulled me on to program the Gateway. And oh my gosh, am I having so much fun. I seriously am having so much fun with the Gateway. And you will have to rein me in because I can talk for hours. When I got there in September, we were having about 2,000 services. Gateway, last month we were 4,000, and we were closed for a week. So things are really, so I've done it, I've programmed it. So we've got more to do, but I want you to know about some of the exciting things that we are doing. And I don't know if you know about MDC, but for the first 35 years, it was a prevention organization formed by county and city dollars. And then we have a visionary as a executive director, Karen Pershing, who was appalled by all the opiate deaths and said we need to do something to intervene. And so they started doing research, figured out some things that were missing in this community for folks who are in recovery or trying to get into recovery. And so she started putting those into effect. One of those is a Recovery Coach Academy, which we got from CCAR out of Chicago. We do teach Recovery Coach Academy a couple times a year. Our next one is in June for folks who are wanting to be in this field and work with folks who are in recovery or trying to get into recovery. And then they found a recovery support center, a recovery community center. And they went to one in Kentucky and they went to one in Georgia. And ours, the Gateway, is patterned after the one in Georgia called the Zone. So the premise behind that, the Gateway, is that it's a safe place for folks new in recovery or wanting to be in recovery, trying to get into recovery, to learn new skill sets, for us to support them and keep them safe. Because you all know what happens during transition periods from jail to home, from treatment to home, from the street to halfway. All those transition points are incredibly dangerous, tricky, right? And so the Gateway was formed to have a place where folks could congregate and be a part of a bigger community, a bigger safe recovery community. So MDC has three pieces to it. It is the primary prevention, which you all know all about because we've been around forever. The harm reduction.
And Micah did too. We're to send all these checks that we were working on for Brittany.
Yeah.
And they did the opposite.
And
And so I went back there.
Although it might have been a good story. They're taking up my time. The harm reduction piece is that we have a grant housed at the Gateway, just 2 minutes over, is our ropes grants. I call it the Narcan Man. Do you know the song Rubber Band Man? That's what goes through my head. The Narcan Man. And then the Narcan Lady, who spends a lot of time teaching folks about harm reduction, fentanyl strips, test strips. We give out Narcan by the pallet load and provide lots of education surrounding harm reduction. We support all the services in this community that help with that also. And then there's the recovery support team. Oh, that's mine, right? Let me get there. There we go. The recovery support, which I'm the director of recovery support. So I wanted you to see it. I love that mural. If you don't know where we are, a couple blocks over, I invite every one of you to come and tour. And I've got cards. I'm glad to give them to you. I'd love to show you what we've done because it is freaking awesome. That building is amazing. And we're in 3 phases. We're about to finish phase 2. And I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But we are the first recovery center in this area. And we're serving a lot of people. Our purpose was to figure out the missing pieces of the puzzle for someone new in recovery. So part of the things that are housed at the Gateway is, I told you about ropes, but also the Lifeline grant. The Lifeline coordinator for the region is housed at the Gateway. It is her job to get people into treatment, whether they have resources or not. And she does an excellent job of that. We actually have treatment centers picking up at the Gateway 3 or 4 days a week to take folks to treatment who don't have the means to get into treatment. Also is our faith-based coordinator, Ashley Krause, is housed there, and it's her job to go in and certify congregations as recovery friendly and help them understand how to best help addicts and alcoholics instead of loving them to death, literally, right? So all of those are housed at the Gateway, and I'm very proud of that and pleased of that. One of the things I want to make sure you know about is everybody in that building is recovery coaches, and it's kind of like a CPRS case manager. Okay, it's the way I would describe it. They meet with folks individually and help them figure out what the barriers are to recovery and solve them, right? So they're very good at what they do. So we do, part of that is a housing support fund. We have a grant, which we just got funded again, that helps someone with a deposit to a halfway house or a sober living facility. So we have a group of houses that I've been to. I've looked at them. I've talked to the people. They have all the things they need to have to keep somebody safe. So we vetted them. And then if someone sends us on the website as an application for housing support, if they've got to be clean. Halfway houses don't take you if you aren't clean. You've got to have some clean time. So we prefer to take them out of incarceration or out of treatment. Several folks out of. So I literally just. That's great. Love it. So part of the funding piece of that is they come in and meet with a recovery coach. It's free. Recovery coach, I tell them, your recovery coach is free. We ask them to do some sweat equity, 5 hours at the Gateway, coming in and either lead a meeting or help us in some way, and to attend one something a week with us at the Gateway. That's the cost for the housing deposit. So I approved 2 more houses last week. I've got 2 more on today. Part of when I got to the Gateway, one of the things the first thing I did was go to all those halfway houses that were already on the approved list, and there was 9. Now we're up to 18, and we've got 2 more this week that we're moving towards that. And I don't know why we were so picky, but there's no reason to be. One of the things my goal has been is to one of the things I've done for 30 years is develop professionals in the field of addiction treatment, et cetera. And so I went into all those halfway houses and talked to everybody. And overwhelmingly, they needed some things, some different kinds of classes, which I'm working on: finance, nutrition, banking, workforce development, going back to school, things like that, which we've got a lot of that already in place, still working on more of that. But the other thing I realized was they all had house managers, and the house managers all wanted to be professionals in the field, and they really didn't know what they were doing. And so when I got back to the Gateway, I created a House Managers Academy. It's a 10-week course, and it's free for anybody who's a house manager or runs a unit that houses folks. Now all the curriculum is evidence-based, approved by the state or the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network. The topics are, in the 10-week academy, is suicide prevention, opiate overdose, motivational interviewing, trauma-informed care, stigma, compassion, fatigue, and burnout, ethics, professionalism, and there's a couple more. So we are teaching the folks who are running those halfway houses how to be kind and compassionate to folks who are in recovery and know what they're doing. So I take that as a real win. I got to tell you this. Phase 2, look, how far am I on these slides? Look, this was since September 22. We've served 41, we've done 41,000 services out of that building. When I got there in September, it was 22,000. So we've really done it. We've got all kinds of things that we're doing there, including sober yoga and Dharma recovery. There's no wrong door. We're about to start smoking cessation and smart recovery classes. We have a family support group, absolutely free, Monday nights, 6 to 8, where one of my former assistant directors at Cornerstone Before that, he worked at Betty Ford. He's doing family fundamentals for any family member who needs help with an addict or alcoholic, and then a support group afterwards. All of that is free. We're doing schema therapy groups with someone I worked with at Cornerstone. So we've got music therapy, art with Denver, which is quite funny. He's like a little Bobby Ross. But we're providing lots of services. The second phase of that was to open a rec center, which is open, but I need some help. I need some volunteers because I have like 3 employees who stay at the center. And it's not enough to really run that place because it is big. The center's big. But the rec center is, it's full workout equipment on one tier, and then the other tier is ping pong, pool, foosball, golden tee, 60 Pac-Man different games, you know, things like that. So we're ready, we're opening that. I just need help. I need volunteers from the community. I need Les Faust from Carm to come over and help me teach some guys how to exercise and use those machines. And then the last piece of phase 2 is a coffee shop, which I don't know how to run a coffee shop. So I'm learning how to run a coffee shop. And it should be open within the month. So all that's phase 2. So I've got some flyers. If I'm just going to pass them around, feel free to, but the thing you can get to, well, there's all the stuff we're doing. Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Al-Anon. I've got gender specific NA meetings, which you won't find anywhere else in this region. And they're being attended by folks with decades in recovery. Some magic is happening over there, guys. Magic is happening at the Gateway.
Amen.
And I love it. I think I touched on all of that. One more. Yeah. So here's the QR code for the Gateway calendar. You can get that by going to metrodrug.org. We update it all the time. Like right now, I need to put on it. We have 2 folks from UT Extension Office to help folks get back into school, coming over and just hanging out with us from 1 to 3 on Mondays. That's not on that yet. I just got that set yesterday. You know, not on there is I'm working with NAMI to do their forums there, you know, for the year. Not on there yet. But so we've got a lot happening, a lot going on. Come play with us. We welcome anybody who wants to be in recovery to come to our center, and we will help them figure it out. Okay. So I've got cards. I'll put them here if anybody wants one, please. And
You're not able to get a picture of this, fear not. If you check the email that we sent out last night with the agenda, there is Anne's contact information on the agenda. So please reach out and start her coffee shop and play her Pac-Man games.
yes.
Can I just give a testimonial? And I think it's your academy. I can't remember the name of it. Our folks from our shelter monitors and our case managers have been loving that.
I'm loving them.
I've been there
Yes.
through it, and they've just really appreciated it. So thank you. They love the comprehensiveness of it.
Yeah.
I have other staff saying, we don't work at the shelter, but can we come be a photographer?
Well, let me take care of the
Thank you.
people who
Right.
run our housing for us in this community, but
They're enjoying it. Thank
I've
you.
been training folks for a long time, and I love that academy, the House Managers Academy. I really do. I love what we're doing. We're making a significant difference right off the bat. So thank you. Thank you.